It's your boy, which one for fucking problems in a bit. Hit subscribe button if you're new here. If you're on Twitch, press follow. If you're on TikTok, press follow. Let's get into it.
Pretty much everybody in human history has had a job. From people in the Great Depression working the coal mines for a bowl of stew, all the way to the first humans on Earth. I've been the person who discovered fire was making a crazy amount of money doing it as a side hustle. Making your own money is just something that you're gonna have to do eventually in your life. From pretty much the moment you graduate high school, you're hit with a pretty hard reality. You could either A, become a bum and live at your parents' house until you're 45 years old, B, go to college or university, some sort of secondary education, and hope to start a flourishing career. Or C, no matter what ending you decide to choose, provided it's not C.
Let me tell y'all, I just quit my fucking job, bro. My back was hurting. I didn't go to work for like a week. I came back. They talking about you might get fired next day. Walked out right on my lunch break. We are not getting jobs in 2026. We're getting rich off the internet. Right? Isn't that the move? Hopefully that's the move. Shit.
There's a pretty big chance that sometime in your life you're gonna have
Who
to
knows?
do something that nobody wants. You're gonna have to get a job. Yeah, unfortunately, that's just
No, say that fucking word, bro.
the hard truth. Nobody wants to get a job, but unfortunately, that's just what has to be done. Gen Z is just gonna go on and join the working
Say
class,
that
much
word,
like the
bro.
generations before us, and get a 9 to 5. You just gotta get a job and give up on your dreams. Or do you? You see, Gen Z is completely different from any past generation. While other groups like Millennials, Gen X, or the old people had a much easier time finding jobs, we're not really in the same boat whatsoever. In fact, the employment rate for Americans aged 16 to 24 years old is only 10.5%. That's only double the amount of old people enough to be in retirement. Meanwhile, the unemployment for Gen Z is the highest it's ever been, with 96.7% of people being completely... I just made that up. I have no idea. In reality, it's a lot closer to 15%, and that's the amount of people who end up going to apply for a job and they're just told to scram and get kicked out to the side of the curb. I don't really think this is just the fault of one specific issue that's causing younger generations not to achieve work. I think it's a variety of different problems that just sort of accumulate all at once, and they almost fit like puzzle pieces. One thing that definitely affects the desire for younger generations to go out and look for an aspiring career is old people constantly reminding them how lazy they are. Hey dude, no, it's not at all laziness, although that's definitely part of it to a certain extent. It's brain dead just to say that's the sole reason. A big part of it is competition.
How lazy are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Let me see how lazy y'all are in the chat, bro. Put a 1 if you're lazy, 2 if you're not. Let me see what the chat talking about. Put a 1 if you're lazy, 2 if you're not. Couple ones. Couple ones on the Twitch side. What y'all, are y'all lazy on the fucking TikTok side? I don't see a 1 or a 2 in the chat on TikTok.
Competition to
Shit.
get a job is so unbelievably high. It's so much more competitive for Gen Z to actually find an entry-level job, because now you're not just competing against young people between the ages of 15 to 25 years old anymore.
80-year-olds
Now
who-
you got 16-year-olds and 40-year-olds fighting for a cashier position at Walmart. So many people during lockdown ended up getting laid off and just never went back to their job. And now that everything is progressively getting more and more expensive, it's just getting harder and harder to find a job, especially when you're just getting into the workforce. That being said, let's say you aspire for something more than just a typical service job. Let's say that you really do go to some sort of secondary education, whether it be college or university. You spend tens of thousands of dollars on putting yourself into debt with student loans. After years of hard work and finally graduating with multiple degrees, there's still no guarantee that you're even gonna end up finding a job in the first place. Competition is just way too high at this point, and entry-level jobs are significantly harder to get hired for now than they were 50 years ago. Way back in the day, it seems like you were able to apply for almost any single job you could have imagined with little to no experience. You could have been stinky, a high school dropout, a bum, and yet still you somehow would have gotten a call back saying that you're hired. Now? You could graduate from Harvard with 5 master's degrees and a PhD under your belt, a certificate saying that you personally rebuilt a village in the middle of the jungle, and you'll still get a letter back saying, "Dearest reader, we greatly appreciate your consideration for this role. Unfortunately, due to lack of experience and education, your skills are nowhere near what we're looking for, and we've decided to move forward with other applicants. Sincerely, the McDonald's down the street.
Facts.
And this is the case over and over and over again for some people. Even when I was 15 or 16 years old, finding a job was still relatively hard, and I knew tons of my friends just weren't able to find one no matter how hard they tried. Out of both of the jobs that I have, one of them I worked at a Goodwill-like store, and the second one I worked at a Marshall's. I'm pretty convinced that the only reason I got either of those cashier jobs is because I knew people who were employed there and put in a good word for me. I remember when I got to Marshall's for the interview, there were like 5 other people in front of me, and they were all significantly older, and they chose to hire the worst possible option, me. If I didn't know somebody who worked there, there is no way I would have gotten that job. How do I know? Because I applied for that exact same cashier position like 7 different times. Listen, dude, the truth is, it's just significantly harder for almost anyone to find a job now due to higher competition. And the worst part is, it's just gonna keep getting worse in the future. Oh, why's that, I hear you ask, as you sit there slurping your instant ramen? Because now, people aren't only competing against other humans, sooner than later, you're gonna be competing against a bag of bolts. Imagine losing your job to a stupid client robot. I would be livid. The first thing that this is obviously going to happen to is customer service jobs. I would not be surprised if in 10 years from now, it'd be considered hard to find an actual human employee working inside of a fast food establishment. Hold on. Wait. Guys, this is happening sooner than expected. The robot takeover is already here. Almost half the time I pull up into some drive-thru, I'm greeted with a robot voice, and sometimes it takes me a while to process that it's not human. So when I finally realize it's automated, I sit there like an idiot.
Hello, I hope you're doing fantastic. How can I help you today?
Thanks for being so high energy. I'm having a really bad day today. I just need somebody to talk.
Are you a member of our points program?
Oh, I think it's pretty much common knowledge that this is
Bro, I've never been to a restaurant with a
just
fucking...
gonna keep happening.
AI.
And if it weren't already obvious, these big corporations could not give less of a about how it'll ruin the job market. Most of the time, if the big billionaire boss at the top sees an opportunity to save 70 cents on his company, but it means that he has to fire every single one of employees and replace them with 2 robots, well, chances are the robot just got the job, even if it's significantly less efficient. The CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, is without surprise very supportive of this because he'll just keep making money. This mother goes on interviews and talks about how excited he is for the future of AI and its involvement in the workforce. It's pretty easy for you to state your excitement when you're sitting on $2 billion in the bank.
Current jobs go away, totally change, whatever. I'm not afraid of that at all. In fact, I think that's good. I think that's the way of progress, and we'll find new and better jobs.
Brother, what do you mean we are gonna find new and better jobs? Couldn't care less
I don't
if
know how
AI
you
is
making
gonna
that
create
noise,
new
bro.
jobs for people. All you care about is being the first one to turn society into a mindless robot dystopian hellscape as fast as possible, so that way you can continue to get rich. This dude could do nothing but and eat gold-covered Wagyu steak every day for the rest of his life, and he would still have $1.99 billion left to his name. You don't have to worry about anything for the rest of your life, so of course you're happy that big corporations are getting more involved with AI. They're just gonna keep funding his toilet paper of $100 bills. And one career line that I think seems to be a little bit safer than anything to do with tech is becoming a blue-collar worker. That's right, working like a dog day and night. Working on construction sites, working with pipes, electrical wiring. This entire line of work is something that a lot of younger people have been getting into because it's a relatively good paying job, and at least as of right now, it doesn't seem like it'll get impacted by AI. The only issue with it is these jobs are pretty much exploiting what the human body is physically capable of. I've seen so many videos of like construction workers' hands. Bro, that is a brick. This is just me personally, but I would much rather get paid 25 cents an hour and some belly button lint than work my hands until my fingers look like Italian sausages dipped in cement. Go ahead, call me soft hands or pretty princess. Make fun of me for using shampoo and conditioner instead of in fast orange hand cleaner that doubles as car wash soap. These people are brave enough to work with heavy machinery or electrical wiring.
What kind of soap y'all use in the chat, bro? Or do y'all not bathe?
for 17 hours a day. Meanwhile, I'm too scared to press the crosswalk button when there's oncoming traffic because I don't want to be annoying. Bro, some of these people are on the construction site at like 4:30 in the morning and not coming home until 7 p.m. By the time they're on their lunch break at 1 p.m., some people are just waking up and getting ready to do a whole lot of nothing the entire day. Like, listen, dude, there's nothing I love more than watching YouTube and eating hot fries all day. But how the do you have absolutely no ambition to do anything? At least try to do anything. The thing is, if you're able to score a job, half the time you're getting paid to do practically nothing. If you get hired as a store associate somewhere, I'm being so for real, 50% of the job is just being bored and waiting for something to do. When I worked at Marshall's, there used to be this position called general maintenance, and all you would do is wheel around this rickety old janitor's cart and keep things clean. But instead, what most people would do is put up a sign saying the bathroom was closed for cleaning, and then you lock yourself in there and scroll on your phone for the entire shift. And I know I'm not alone in this. There are people on TikTok posting videos about how to be a lazy employee. My thing is, if you're already there for 7+ hours, why not just do something? Bro, if you have the opportunity to get paid for doing literally nothing, then you should take it. And yet, after all this, old people will still call younger generations ungrateful or lazy for not getting a real job. Like, I'm sorry, how the am I lazy for not replicating your perfect picture life and success all before I turned 23 years old? That's not even me just pulling random word sandwiches out of nowhere. In 1960, the average age where American adults would successfully buy a home was 23 years old. 23 years old? Man, what the I'm 21 years old and I barely know how to do real grocery shopping. You expect people to buy a whole house before their hairline starts receding or before they have kids? Meanwhile, a pint of strawberries costs $12.99? Yeah, alright. I'll totally make sure to get on that. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button. Make sure to follow my Twitter, my Twitch, and my Instagram. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.
Facts. Good video, man. Hope y'all liked and enjoyed. Press subscribe.